Well, good afternoon, everybody. First Alert Meteorologist Justin Bradford here in our midweek day of the first week of March, the 4th of the month here, and we've got some pretty nice-looking conditions outside. Certainly an improvement from yesterday, and tomorrow will be a little step backwards in the temperature department, but we get some rain into the picture. That's going to be around on and off into the early weekend, but warmer temperatures are also coming with it. And those are going to hang around even when the weather clears up, at least for a couple of days before a reality check around this time next week. We're going to talk about all that in our forecast for you this afternoon. But we wanted to take a peek outside at what's going on. This is the live Skycam network here over 4 of our mid-Michigan locations. We've got US 127, Michigan State's campus, which is still pretty quiet with the students all the way on spring break. Jackson and Mason as well, varying degrees of cloud cover out there. And even the clouds that are there, it's thin. So we are seeing some sun peek through. And that has helped warm us up in a big way today. You can see versus yesterday, we're about 10 to 15 degrees above where we were this time yesterday afternoon. And those numbers in most places north of Jackson are into the 50s now. And you do see a few cooler locations the further south and east you go where the shroud of cloud cover, if you will, has been kind of hanging around. Everywhere else that's into a bit more sun has gotten to 50, and I do too think that places like Coldwater and Hillsdale are going to make a good run at that number before the day's done. You see 52, the number in Lansing, and 50 in Jackson. Those numbers probably grab another couple of degrees before this afternoon's done, thanks to the flow that we've got in place. Now, current temperatures, you can see, are mild around here in the Great Lakes, a little bit cooler as you head off towards Des Moines, Iowa, Kansas City, Minneapolis. That's where they've got some rain falling. You can see even in the UP, Marquette has got 50 degrees this afternoon. So our neighbors to the north who aren't often that warm this time of year are getting there as well. So here's the next 12 hours walking you through in the hour-by-hour forecast. You can see that as we head into the evening, that's when we start to see a few opportunities for scattered rain to trickle into the forecast. Now, we've still got numbers in the 50s before that happens, so you want to take an evening walk or something like that, be a good time to do that. And we'll have plenty more opportunities to come when you see where the temperatures are headed. But satellite radar, once again, temperatures are kind of caught in the 40s beneath the clouds to the south on the state line and over towards Metro Detroit. Elsewhere, we've had the sunshine help us into those 50s. And once again, has been the case for several days, systems have been just trailing along south of the Great Lakes. That is going to change with that batch you see near St. Louis. It is marching our way, at least the northern end of it, and eventually we'll fill in the future radar with a few more of those showers heading into the overnight period. And so you'll see that in the hour by hour momentarily, but I wanted to give folks a first alert to the wet conditions and the mild air, as a matter of fact, settling in for our late week and early weekend. Now, rain and even a few thunderstorms are going to be possible, with locally heavy rainfall possible at times. Once we get out to Friday and Saturday, we're looking at highs near or even above 60 degrees. And as we mentioned, could be even warmer than that early next week. So here's your hour-by-hour first alert forecast, walking you through the rest of this afternoon. And once again, we see the 50s and then the numbers retreat tonight. I do think as we get towards 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, we could see some rain start to trickle in south of I-94, including the Jackson area. North of there probably waits another couple hours before some scattered activity filters through. You can see that here. And even that's pretty sporadic heading into our Thursday early morning start to the day. So your drive tomorrow won't necessarily be wet. There could be a few sprinkles around, but for most of us, it's going to be around the midday. And that you see here is when most of the rain starts filtering in. It is not a really, really heavy rain, but it is pretty persistent, once again, heading throughout most of our day on Thursday. I think temperatures will be a little warmer than this model suggests, probably lower to middle 40s for our high tomorrow. So it'll be cooler than today, but that's what happens when you're caught beneath the clouds and the rain that we'll see as well. Now that kind of rotates out of the picture, and you see we're pretty dry heading into Thursday night and Friday morning. In fact, starting near maybe the freezing mark in some spots Friday, but temperatures with a southwest wind really going to pick up. And even by 4, 5 o'clock here, you can see most of us are probably still dry and reaping the benefits of that southwest air, getting us well into the 50s and maybe lower 60s in some spots, with some rain set to move in thereafter. You can see that coming through in this hour by hour, with maybe a couple of stronger storms as we head into Friday evening, probably near or even after sunset. So that's something we also want to keep an eye on, is the potential for some severe weather. Now, this is a low-end threat for us. You can see the wide severe weather outlook for Friday has got a pretty good likelihood of things like large hail, wind gusts, torrential rain, and even some widespread tornadoes. Now that threat well to our south and west. You can see in the red and yellow shaded area there where they've got an enhanced to slight risk taking place. That butts all the way up to near Chicago. But for us here in mid-Michigan with a closer look, you can see that the part of our southwest area mostly is in the marginal risk and right on the fringe of it. And so the reason for this is because the storms will develop to our south and west, and then they'll move into our area as we head into Friday evening. And so just how many of those storms are able to maintain the strength, because they will be weakening as they approach us on Friday evening, whether or not they make it here at all is not necessarily in the question. We are going to probably see some rain and storms headed into Friday evening. They will by then, in most cases, have fallen below any sort of severe weather criteria. So that's what we're first alerting you to and keeping an eye on throughout these next few days. You'll want to check back in for updates on that. Now here's the rest of the week and the high temperature trend. You can see we're well above average. Even our average of 40 starting tomorrow, we're above it by a couple degrees despite being the cooler day until we get to this time next week. And by then, big changes are coming our way. We go 50s to low 60s. How about next Monday, 68? Tuesday, 72 for the forecast high, but just 2 days later, we could be some 40 degrees colder than that heading into Thursday for our high temperature. So things do cool down in a hurry by the time we get there. Not only that, we may also have to throw a couple of snowflakes into the mix as well. I know that's not everybody's favorite thing to hear, as we're seeming like we're turning a corner with the numbers these next few days, and in your 10-day extended forecast you can see how that kind of plays out. So any precipitation that we see between now and late next week will come down as rain with the milder temperatures that we'll see. And if you have a day to maybe play hooky from school or work or something, next Monday's not a bad one. Upper 60s, lots of sunshine and pretty dry air in place. Remember, that comes after Sunday's clock change. At 2 in the morning, we actually fast forward to 3 and skip that hour. So we lose an hour of sleep, but what's most notable there is that we have the sunrise and sunset each taking place about an hour later from Saturday into Sunday. And so the Saturday sunset will be close to 6:30 or just thereafter, and then after 7:30 on Sunday. Now the sunrise will go from about 7 a.m. to about 8 a.m. in that same time frame too. So you might lose the hour in the morning, but you'll gain it in the evening, and a lot of folks appreciate that daylight that comes in later. But once again, we are heading back to some cooler temperatures as we head into late next week at the end of this 10-day first alert forecast. And so that's where we're headed here, and we'll again continue to monitor any sort of changes. You're going to want to be sure to check back in with us. We'll have updates on the News 10 Plus app, as well as our First Alert Weather app, which is free in the App Store and on Google Play. You can get us on all our platforms of social media too, including Facebook and YouTube. And of course, catch us on air. First Alert Meteorologist Andy Provenzano will have an updated full extended First Alert forecast. That'll be coming up in our 90 minutes of news, which is starting, of course, at 5 o'clock. And by the time before we get there, we've got a great show on Studio 10 today. If you catch us at 3 p.m. on our airwaves as well, that's going to be coming up in just about 52 minutes here, so as in real time. So thank you for watching us today. Again, be sure to stay First Alert and tune to those updates coming later on this week. And thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.